welcome. Today I'm here with architect Winn Wittman as my guest. Winn, who influenced you the most to become an architect?
There was a cabinet maker that I worked with when I was a child, and I apprenticed to him. I started by carrying boards and planing things and sanding, and he was very influential, and I learned how to make things. And then my mother was very influential because she got me piano lessons and art lessons and various things like that that I later came to appreciate. And I took a sort of circuitous route to get to architecture. I had read Somerset Maugham, and he said, "Life is a pattern to be woven of many colored threads." And I've tried to live my life like that. I tried a lot of different things. I majored in art history and English literature and took human factors engineering undergrad. And it led to architecture somehow.
Where do you find your inspiration?
I would say when I was younger, I found my inspiration in architecture, but the older I get, the more I find it in disparate areas. I also get a lot of inspiration from my clients and adjust things toward how they would like to live and what inspires them. Of course, when I am thinking in relation to a specific project, then I get the most inspiration when I actually go to the site and I look and I experience what it feels like and get a sense of what I might like to do there. But when I travel, I get a lot of inspiration. I go to shops, I go to galleries, I go to restaurants, walk through the city.
How would you describe your signature style?
I take a lot of influences from sculpture, and my work is very sculptural. I like to think you can look at it from different angles and appreciate it from every angle. I also then try to make the work highly functional. And thirdly, I try to bring in my clients' wishes and preferences. So when I put all those things together, that's how I end up with a certain style.
I know that you're a recording artist as well. How does music affect your architectural designs?
Music has been referred to as liquid architecture and architecture as frozen music. And there are a lot of similarities. Both music and architecture have a structure. They have their notes and their columns and their structural grid. And then there are the flowing elements that are non-structural that weave in and out. And in both music and architecture, the silences are as important as the punctuations.
Is there any architect who never compromises?
The hardest thing for me as an architect perhaps has been learning when to compromise and when to stick to my guns. If I believe in something very strongly, then I will stand my ground. But if it's a question of my preference versus my client's preference, then I will compromise or adjust. And usually we end up with something better than we started with.
And my last question is, what is your most treasured possession?
I have three things that I can think of. One is a lithograph by the architect Le Corbusier, which I purchased when I went to Switzerland about 20 years ago at the Heidi Weber house, his last project. And that's always inspirational to me to be that close to somebody that I admire. The other is my 1893 Steinway. Hopefully my grandkids will fight over that one. And the last thing would be my grandfather's bathrobe. And it's also wonderful for me to be close to him every time I look at that.
Beautiful answers. Thank you.